Hello and welcome. We are live. It is I, J.Ishiro, author and alien in a human suit. And I'm already bumbling today because I've been writing all day. In fact, I didn't even take a day off. I was writing all weekend too. But it is Monday with Ginell, as
Hello.
always. So we're back on that, and we're going to talk about things.
Yes.
So what do you think of things, Ginell?
I think things are great. There's plenty of awesome things out there. There's some not awesome things, but most things are good.
Yes, and stuff. So quickly, because we all know that one of the things that does suck is YouTube. If you guys could share on your social media that we are live, that would be great. Says that there are 6 people in the chat, but the little counter in the corner says there's only 4 people watching. That's interesting. So hello all. We'll wait a little bit longer before we really get down to business. But I guess, Ginell.
Yes.
Have you seen anything regarding Jordan Peterson and Red Skull?
Oh my God, do not get me started. I'm sorry. Oh God.
I finally saw Peterson's reaction, and I got to admit it was pretty funny.
I have not seen that yet.
He goes, well, apparently it's not enough for people anymore to just accuse me of being a Nazi. Now I have to be a magical super Nazi, apparently.
Well, Tim Pool had talked about it on one of his shows. And he was like, so basically now Red Skull is a good guy because he's telling people to clean their rooms. So you're just seeing a bunch of people who don't want to hear other people saying, hey, go clean your room. The ridiculousness of it. Oh my God.
There have been some great memes to come out of it, by the way. Oh, wait. Schwang has a really good opening. The Schwang says, welcome bitches and bros and non-binary hoes.
I love it. That like is good.
Bitches, bros, and non-binary hoes. What about traps? Are traps included? But, there have been some great memes. I've seen one, my favorite one right now is, the scene in Endgame where Red Skull is, there must be a sacrifice.
Yeah.
And Hawkeye says, it starts with Hawkeye saying, what do you mean? What kind of sacrifice? And just as Red Skull's moving his lips, it dubs in, well, you could start by cleaning your room.
So this is the one that's still being written by Ta-Nehisi Coates, right?
Yeah,
he's still
that hack.
Okay, yeah, because if I remember correctly, and chat, correct me if I'm wrong, because I've I've pretty much exited the comic book world. He was becoming sort of a bodyguard for like Antifa and BLM. He was protecting them at quote unquote protests. And I really checked out when I was reading about that. So I don't know if that was an actual thing.
I haven't read it. I just know that he turned Captain America into a Nazi as well, and then cloned him in something or something. Who cares? It's all bad fanfic anyway.
Oh my God. You know what? I know it's probably going to be another 20, 30 years, but when comics finally, hopefully, maybe one day, though they might go back to normal. I don't know. Oh, Wolf Media. Yeah, that 9/11 comment. Ooh. That was disgusting.
It just shows that he is a complete scumbag and that he has no empathy in him.
None.
He's as racist as they come, and if he had his way, very bad things would happen.
Yeah.
He might as well just be wearing a sheet of his own color.
Well, his dad was a Black Panther, so.
Well, there you go. Okay, Just a Passerby says, I saw Joss Whedon's new series today. Man, did one of the bad guys sound like Jordan Peterson. I didn't even know Whedon had a new series.
Yeah, Nevers.
That guy's so washed up at this point.
It literally looks like Buffy in a magical steampunk world. That's the
Really?
vibe I got from the trailer. I was like, so you're just dredging up your old shit because you can't come up with anything new.
Yeah. Yeah, he's completely, whatever credibility he had, he basically sold out. He sold out hard. He lost his mind. And in desperation, he's done some really desperate things, which is funny.
Yeah.
Wolftown Media. I bet if he was told some black folk died that day, he might, keyword, might give a pause. Yeah, that's Coates. Okay. So I don't know if I have much more to say other than, every time I hear Marvel goes low, has hit a new low, I'm like, I thought they'd hit the bottom, and they go lower.
You heard about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, right?
I've seen the ads on it on TV or on cable, and it looks stupid as hell.
Oh, it's woke as fuck. Like,
Really?
Steve and I tuned out after the second episode. We didn't tune out of WandaVision. Like, we actually stayed with that one. But I actually thought WandaVision was good, especially because she was the villain. That was kind of cool. But yeah, we checked out after the second episode. We were just like, nope, we're done.
Yeah, I mean, it's, if you guys want good comics, all you got to do is buy indie. That's don't even bother with the big companies anymore. They're utter crap. It's just that's all there is. Sorry.
Hey, if anybody out there knows any good artists, send them Ishii's way. I need more comics from him, please. Please. I need a third Case File Arkham.
Oh, I'd love to do a third Case File Arkham.
Actually, I want the World War Kaiju. That one too, or like a role-playing game for that.
Oh God.
I remember you told me that it was supposed to be a tabletop RPG, and since my husband and I are tabletop RPGers, like I got all excited for that. And then when you told me the story, I was like, oh man.
Yeah, I won't name names, but somebody who used to work/run Pseudopod or Escape Artists had agreed to help me create the game, and I did my side, and he utterly flaked out on me. And then I couldn't meet my deadline.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you right now, I would play that game, and I have friends who are huge into kaiju that have never played tabletop RPG that would play that RPG. No problem.
Well, maybe that's something I can tackle after I get the boob book done.
I can't wait for the boob book.
Maybe the boob book's going to make me an ass load of money, and I can afford to do these things. I can afford to just say, you know what, screw it. I can just go all the way to the top and get Marini or some A-list artist to do the book instead.
That would be awesome.
Of course,
everybody spread the word.
Marini already said that he wouldn't do it because he said he was horrible to work with.
Well, I don't know much.
I asked him.
I don't know much about Marini.
He's done some great work, such as Raptors, French comics.
Oh, okay. Unfortunately, the only French comics I've ever read are Valerian and the Mobius books with, I can never pronounce his name, the awesome director, Jodorowsky, the guy that was originally supposed to do Dune.
Jodorowsky or yeah, I'm butchering it too.
I can't do it either, but I've read the Meta Barons, and I've read part of the Ink Owl, and I've read the Techno Priest. So that's the only French comics I've really read.
Yeah, he has got one hell of a wild imagination, doesn't he?
Oh, Mobius?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. His art is amazing. I'm sad that he passed away. It's like, you're not going to get art like that anymore.
Jodorowsky also just insane ideas. The Meta Barons was nuts. It was like Dune on crack.
Yes, exactly. The way he portrayed Leto Atreides, Leto the First, is like an uncompromising warrior, and also the way he portrayed his version of Bene Gesserit, like they're even crazier than they are in the Dune books. Like, I would not screw with them. Like, they were shady.
Yeah.
But
Well, they were kind of shady in the books, but not that shady.
oh yeah, like they were shady in the books indeed. But the thing I liked was the metabarons had to sacrifice a part of their physical self to be considered a true metabaron.
Yeah.
I appreciated that, and it was always things that were key to the person.
Well, let's be even more specific. They had to voluntarily maim themselves
Yes,
to do it.
that when the one metabaron that where he took his son's brain and put it in his twin daughter's body because her brain had died, and then he had to basically what's the word I'm looking for? Carterized her own breasts off, his own breasts off, so he could look more like a man. That was his sacrifice. It's like, geez, oof.
What about? Are you talking about Steelhead?
Steelhead's, yeah, it was Steelhead's daughter, or I should say Steelhead's daughter and son, because he had the twins, and the twin son had a weak body, but the daughter was born brain dead. So he transferred the brain of the son into the daughter's body so they could be together as one person.
And the thing was, the one that got me, okay, the head, yeah, the Steelhead one, where, you know, okay, well, we've got a character who sacrifices his own damn head.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you make that work? He made it work. The other one was, and again, I was blown away that it came across as not cheesy, was the one that lost his dick.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about him.
I mean, you'd think that would come across as really dopey. It didn't.
No. I completely forgot about that metabaron. I remember the one that took his own feet off. I remember Steelhead. Mm-hmm. I remember the hybrid son-daughter. And then I remember the final metabaron that actually he took out his own eardrum and part of his brain as his sacrifice. And I can't remember why he chose that. But I remember that he had to sacrifice part of his brain and like his entire ear. And that was the final metabaron that you see in the Incal.
Okay. Now taking a step back, this is the art of Marini. Okay?
Okay.
Now, he's doing noir comics right now. I mean, he was known primarily for doing, you know, the really edgy horror, occult type stuff, and action. He's doing noir.
Oh, wow.
And he started posting this art.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm like, please, I will sell my house and hire you. And
wow.
He said, "Oh, I'm sure the work is wonderful, but I'm horrible to work with. I don't work with anybody."
Oh, well, at least he's upfront.
Yeah.
I like his women.
Yeah, well, the last one there I showed, let me go back to that. That's Ava Gardner.
Are you? Oh my gosh, it is.
Let me get the original.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's just an amazing, amazing piece. Let's see. I want to see.
I like the way he does the draping of the fabric, because fabric can be such a pain in the ass. But I mean, that looks like real fabric in the background.
Yeah, no, he's just an amazing. His paintings too, his full color paintings. Although I'd want black and white naturally. Oh damn! I cannot find the original image that he patterned that after, but I'll show you the photo shoot that it's from.
Okay.
And let's see. It was actually one of the outfits that I wanted Asnith to appear in the book, and I never quite got it, unfortunately. And when I was doing stand-ins for Asnith, the picture references for Patrick, usually I would use Oh, let's see. The original Phantom Lady, which was a film.
Oh, wait,
And
the comic book character Phantom Lady came from a film?
yeah, it was a film. Well, the Phantom Lady essentially was taken, the idea was taken from a noir film called The Phantom Lady. And they share the star of that film, Ella Raines, shares a striking resemblance to the Phantom Lady comic book. But Ella Raines was the model that we based, the actress we based Asnath on.
Mm-hmm.
But when I couldn't find a good picture of her, I would use Ava Gardner from this film. And I'm trying to remember the name of it because I don't want to, I have got so many noir films in my head now. I'll mix up the titles and I don't want to do that. Let's see, where is it? Give me a second. I'm looking it up now and then I will share the picture. The Killers. It's Ava Gardner from The Killers, that image, with Burt Lancaster. Great, great film. Now I'll show you the original. Who would have thought we'd end up talking about film noir? And
sadly,
that,
did not get into film noir until about 5 years ago.
It's okay.
So I'm still a newbie to it.
I came to it late as well, but once I came to it, I'm like, my God, why didn't I get to this sooner? All the stuff I like was influenced by this. Now, I can't find the picture that was the reference he used for this, but here's from the same set of photos, and that's from The Killers.
Oh, damn.
See?
Yeah. Oh, God, she was so hot. No wonder Frank Sinatra went crazy for her.
Let's see. So, yeah, I really do want to get back to Case File Arkham. In novels, if I can't do comics, but I would. It really deserves to be another graphic novel. It really does. That's what's needed. And I've got even a idea for the plot loosely inspired by the film The Devil Rides Out, for anyone who's seen that. It's a Hammer horror.
Hammer Studios horror?
Yeah.
I like Hammer Studios.
Yeah.
But I've only ever seen the Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing stuff.
Yeah, apparently they did a whole bunch of other ones too.
There's one that I want to see where it was actually they did the Kung Fu exploitation. It was Kung Fu vampires. And I can't remember what it was, but it's like
The Curse of the Golden Vampire. And I only know that. I haven't seen it because I've seen a couple reviews, and it's one of those reviews Kat likes to play over and over again.
I want to see it because I do martial arts. So it's like Kung Fu vampires. Like, you can't get better than that.
Yeah. I do wish they'd kind of followed the Asian vampire rules a little closer, but I understand why they didn't.
I only know one Asian vampire rule, and I can't remember what. I want to say the Philippines, but I'm probably wrong. Isn't there a vampire, like an old crone, that would split her body in half?
That is Philippines, and also Indonesia.
Okay, if you put salt on the lower half of her body, that kills the vampire or something.
Or if you block the head can't return to the body. The Indonesia, Malaysia, and the Philippines have that myth. I forget what it's called, but my God, is that a disturbing idea? Especially since the way that it feeds vampirically. I don't think it really should count as a vampire because it doesn't just go around biting and sucking blood. The head leaves the body at night, flies around with all of its organs hanging from the neck, and it will find sleeping pregnant women and stick its face between the woman's legs and suck out the fetus.
Oh, it sounds more like a ghoul, but like a really twisted ghoul. Sorry, just the image got into my head.
Yeah, I was thinking Chinese vampires, which again really don't sound like vampires. And they've got 3 stages where one, they're just kind of like a zombie. And then there's another where that's the vampire stage where they kind of hop around with their arms out in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, they can become like a demon. But William Sova says, speaking of tabletop, I recently grabbed a copy of Dynamic D100, which is a D100 game featuring Go Nagai and Ken Ishikawa's giant robots. Really, do you have link or name It's called D100. What's the name of the supplement? Um, Ginell and Ishii, do any of you know how much non-whites were in Victorian London? Because there were several black brown people in the Nevers. Kat can answer that question better than I can because she is far more versed in Victorian England. I do know that they did have a small black population um, due to manservants during Edwardian times and maybe Victorian. And then due to colonization, they did have a population of Indian and Chinese people, but they weren't very large.
Yeah,
Do you know?
my knowledge of Victorian London, please don't laugh, is I'm hardcore into historical cooking. So I can tell you how they cooked and what they cooked for each level of society, from the royals to aristocracy all the way down to servants, and how they did it. That's as far as my knowledge goes.
But here's something interesting about the black manservants. First, they were all from North Africa, from what I understand. They didn't have any sub-Saharan, so it was a different part of Africa. And even though they were manservants and they had higher status, and they were actually considered, oh, well, you've got a black manservant. That was like a really big deal. And they had more status than the commoners because of that. It was very interesting.
I did not know that. But I can see, because wouldn't they be exotic? So I was like, ooh, you got somebody from another part of the world.
Right. Well, yeah, they were exotic, they were educated, and they were of status because of who they worked for, opposed to, say, the working class who were considered rabble. But
I need to read up on that.
Kat can do a better job of it. Maybe we can bring it up next time she's on.
Because I'm curious.
Tintin, holy hermaphrodite stuff is occurring in the reoccurring motif in Jodorowsky. Yeah.
Oh, wasn't there the Grand Emperor Empress that were conjoined twins? Yeah.
He's an interesting one. Did you ever see Holy Mountain?
No, I have not seen any of his movies. I've been trying to hunt them down because I'd like to see them.
Holy Mountain is wild. It really is. It is both deep and very thought-provoking and symbolic, while also being completely wacky and bizarre.
Is that the one where he sits on a throne and poops out gold?
I believe so.
Okay.
It also featured a menorah machine gun.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. It featured a reenactment of the conquistadors taking Latin America, reenacted with toads and lizards.
Wow. I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to say that guy had to have been on acid. As somebody who has taken acid before,
he did drugs. No, that's not a question. He did drugs, definitely.
So high mountain, and I forget what the other one was.
Holy Mountain.
Holy Mountain.
I didn't see El Topo. I haven't seen that.
I think wasn't that. Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't he inspired slightly by Wolf and Cub?
I don't actually know enough about the film to answer that, but I wouldn't be shocked.
Because he actually had his actual son in that movie with him. Was he being the gunslinger?
Oh, interesting.
In fact, his son in his version of Dune was supposed to play Paul, and he was going to be the correct age of Paul.
Well, that's kind of creepy considering he wanted Paul to bang his mom.
Yeah.
Which was why that film didn't happen.
Oh, I didn't know that. I watched the documentary, but he said it was because people just were too scared of his vision, and it was running way over budget because one of the things was like Salvador Dali was like, you have to pay me $100,000 a day. So they were only going to shoot his scene as the emperor in one day. And Orson Welles wanted to have his own personal chef there with him all the time. It's just some crazy shit.
Well, that people couldn't deal with his vision, that involved Paul banging his mom.
All right.
Herbert flat out, that enraged him. Herbert said, hell no.
Oh, I can imagine. I'd be pissed if I found out that a director was going to pervert something like that.
Especially since Paul and his mom at very early on start to not trust each other.
Oh, well, by the end, I mean, by the time Dune Messiah happened, she's basically exiled herself to Caladan because she knows her son hates her.
Okay. If I think I read this, but dude, I'm reading the second Case File Arkham right now. Thank you, and again, thank you. I can't thank you guys enough for purchasing my books and checking it out. I always say, please write a review, but just the fact that you're buying them, thank you. I work my ass off on those books, and it's nice to see they're still selling. I mean, I had one hell of a burst during Comicsgate, but then everyone hates each other, so never mind.
The good Comicsgate started out good. If it wasn't for Comicsgate, I would not have met you and Kat. I would not have been introduced to the Rags crew. Oh God, who else? So many people though, like went drama crazy and just Doug TenNapel. I had never played Earthworm Jim. I'd never read any of his stuff. Now my kid is a huge fan of his, so I always buy the next Earthworm Jim and Bigfoot Bill. So I'm thankful for Comicsgate because it introduced me to a whole new crew of people that I became friends with, but I'm sad to see what it became. Oh, Tim Lim. Tim Lim's the other one that I got introduced to.
Tim Lim's great. I wish I could get him to do Kami Slayer Angel. I'm serious. If I could, he would be the ideal artist for that book.
Yeah, because he draws those anime chicks very good, very well.
Yeah, he's fast, and he is one hell of an artist.
Yeah, he is. It was sad to see what the main Comicsgate crew did to him.
But another thing that really annoyed me about the whole thing, and this is just my own personal gripe, and I really shouldn't go down this path, but I'll say this much. There was all this pissing and moaning about books being delayed and never being delivered on time. We hit every deadline. Everybody got their books on time or before on time. Nobody said shit. I never got included in any of those fucking Comicsgate memes about supporting the movement. Never got a lot of talk about my book. I will say Umbrella Guy and Edwin were very, very good to me on that. But on the whole, there were all these complaints about people being ripped off and not getting what they paid for and books being overpriced. $20, 150 pages on time.
I did not do the your Kickstarter, your Indiegogo.
Mm-hmm.
I think I ordered afterwards. I ordered that, I got that entire stack from you and Kat of everything that you guys had done.
But it was like we never got invited to participate in any of the group stuff. We never really were welcomed in. I was like, is it because we're not really taking part in the drama? What is it? I don't know. But I felt kind of annoyed at that part, that people were talking up all these books while continually pissed off that the books hadn't been delivered, or they didn't get what they paid for, or they were overpriced.
Cyberfrog pissed me off because I was expecting real good Ethan Van Sciver art, because I had been following him for a long time, and half the book's art was done by Kyle Ritter. Like the background art was all done by Kyle Ritter. And I was just like, what is this shit? I didn't order again, but I was so sick of his bullshit. I shouldn't say I'm sad, but after following him and being a fan, and seeing what he really was, that really sucked. That was when I was like, don't meet your heroes.
Well, I can't really say anything negative about him because he always was good to me, but I understand. I can understand why a lot of people were upset. And I've kind of come to the point, if I don't have anything negative or if I've had nothing but good experiences, I'm just going to leave it at that and be happy about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can understand the anger. I mean, I didn't buy the book, so of course I didn't feel, yeah.
Yeah, like he had talked it up. I really thought like he was going to basically be like the great savior of comic books. Like, here's this hardcore mainstream guy. It's been around forever. He's going to finally turn it around. You
He
know,
could have.
I had,
He could
yeah.
have. He did. He very well could have done it, but I don't know.
No.
I don't want to talk about it. We've all talked about what went wrong. I would prefer people just buy my fucking book.
Yes, buy the book.
Buy all of them. G Baka BST. I got Case File Arca books off Indio some days ago. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it. What, out of curiosity, what do you think? Any thoughts? Let's see. Curse of Golden Vampires. Oh, what? 7 Golden Vampires. That's what it was. Yeah, the 7 Golden Vampires.
Hey, LK said he finally got his copy of Red Rooster last week.
Really? That was another one that really pissed me off.
That was the one that pissed me off the most, man.
I gave to that one. It was like, and you know, I don't get my book. I'm still waiting. I actually finally got my money back, but you know, I walk into Walmart, there it is. It's like, you know, that's not the way this is supposed to work. You know, the people who support the Indiegogo or the Kickstarter, the people that actually make the book happen are supposed to get the book first, usually signed. Then it goes to the mainstream. Yeah. Okay. The Indonesian Flying Head and Guts is a... Oh, God, come on. I'm not going to be able to pronounce that.
Penanglen? Am I saying that correctly? I don't know.
I know it's like Tagali. Are you going to be able? You can't really speak it or even read the words correctly unless you understand the language. So yeah. Star Storyteller. Are you thinking of the Asuwong? Well, I can pronounce that. Apparently, there's a North American variant of a floating head called the Night Floaters. There's a YouTuber who supposedly seen them, and he does scary story YouTube. Really curious about that. That sounds interesting. Let me open up a YouTube window. I'm going to start giving people wrenches so they can post links. I should probably give people wrenches anyway. I thought I gave Kronk one.
Oh, is Kronk in the chat?
I don't think so. Or maybe he is. Okay. Welcome to the live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines. Thank you, YouTube. Let's see. Let's scroll up here and start giving people wrenches. Okay. Let's give you a wrench star. There you go. You got a wrench. And let's give Wolf a wrench so he can post links. Oh, I think I already did. Let's give one to Anime here. You too, LK. Watch, everyone's going to end up having a wrench pretty soon. They're all going to start banning each other like on Ethan's chat.
Oh, Jesus.
You remember that?
Oh my, I would just be sitting there like watching it unfold, and it would get funny actually. I would just start laughing, like the pissing match that would start happening.
And they start ganging up on each other.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and they would gang up on Nasser, and Cecil would be so hammered you couldn't understand what he was saying, but then he would tell those great stories about what it was like to work for Wall Street and going down K-holes and dating strippers. And I actually liked it when Cecil was on.
Okay. Let's go down the list here. That scroll went, the chat scrolled crazy. Well, as I'm looking for a new comment, just to change the subject, I believe right now you have the most complete version of Jugs a Writer's Guide.
Yes. Well, I do have a version.
Well, you've read more of it than anybody else.
Oh, wow.
I think even more than Kat at this point because she's been so busy with school.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, what do you have to say so far? What do you think the readers, the viewers and listeners out there are going to think when they get their hands on these?
I
Hands
am
on these
gonna
jugs.
I am gonna say I actually learned a lot more than I did. I thought I had bra size and trying on bras down to a science, but the fact you actually have a diagram and you go through what it's actually supposed to be, I had no clue. So I was actually being educated as reading the book. But also just the descriptions of what women go through today. That what's her name? I think we talked
Ariel
about
Winter.
her. That story was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I had no clue. I don't know if you want me to talk about. I don't want to spoil anything.
Say anything you want.
Okay. Ariel Winter, who played one of the daughters on Modern Family, was told that she had to get a breast reduction, correctly? Am I correct? To look like a child still, or they were going to fire her. I was thinking about that, and compared to I can't pronounce Vergara. Is that how you say her name?
I have no idea.
She got to stay, meanwhile, she was the stereotypical spicy, stacked Latina woman from Colombia that, it was just the hypocrisy was mind blowing. I learned about, I had no clue about the troubles with Christina Hendricks, but it made perfect sense. I also didn't know she was that friggin' big because she was, I didn't watch Mad Men a lot, but some of the episodes that I saw, she was always in her suits, her wool suits. So, I mean, it kind of covered it up. But what I have to say is I actually have learned a lot more from your book than I learned from my mom or any place that I've gone to buy a bra. Plus the insane sizing charts that change from around the world. And for some reason, E and F don't exist, but they exist simultaneously. And sometimes they can be substituted for double D. Like, holy shit, what is that?
None of it makes any sense.
No, it doesn't. But I was also glad that you put these sites that Kat uses to get her bras, because that's where I'm going to get my bras from now on.
I think you're going to be very, very happy once you find the right size.
Yes.
I'm sure you're going to go through a process of trial and error, sending them back and forth, but return policies are pretty good now. For clothing, I guess apparently they expect you to send them back and forth a few times.
Well, that's good to know that they're okay with the returns and stuff, because I know some online companies that I've experienced, like, you can only have 1 or 2 returns and that's that.
Really?
Yeah.
But I mean, well, as I told in that chapter, the reason I know this stuff initially was just Kat put a fist through the closet door.
Well, I knew what Kat was talking about when it came to Fredericks of Hollywood, because like I told you, I wear a lot of strapless camis in the summer. I always have. That's thin strapped camisoles. And I need a strapless bra for those. And I got one from Fredericks of Hollywood that my boobs just kept flopping out of. I was constantly having to run into a corner or the women's bathroom and kind of pull it back up.
Yeah.
And when you go dancing and you're sweating, tape's not gonna really stick, so you can't put the tape on. So I mean, it was a constant. Sometimes I would actually just fold my arms underneath my boobs and kind of hold them up that way, so I would be able to keep them in. And that was the first and last time I got a strapless bra or anything from Fredericks of Hollywood. Never again.
Okay, this is actually completely off topic, but which nightclub did you hit?
Oh God, it was one of the ones here.
Yeah, was it Sabat or was it?
It was probably Sabat.
Okay,
or maybe it was either Sabat or Soil. I was the non-goth girl going with all the goths, so I stuck out like a sore thumb.
The chances are we went at the same time and we didn't know each other.
Probably.
Yeah, that's odd.
Probably.
Yeah.
I didn't go as much as my goth friends did because I also like to hit regular clubs. I was really into 80s music. So like I'd always go on 80s night and request them to play like tons of New Order and Oingo Boingo to dance to.
Oh
But
yeah,
I did like going to the goth clubs too because I liked goth music and sometimes they would play some industrial too.
yeah. Did you go to the one at the Brass Rail?
No, I did not.
There was a goth night that was not gay. Well, it was goth and new wave at the Brass Rail, and it was the weirdest experience to go to.
Really?
Well,
No, I did
because the
not go to
Brass
that
Rail is
one.
really, really,
Oh,
really
I know. It's
gay.
yeah, the rail and what else? The Flame.
Well,
And isn't
but
the
yeah, there
Flame
were a
down the
lot of good
street?
nights at the Flame.
Yeah. Well, I never got to go to the Flame. Every time my friends went to the Flame, I was having to do something else. I never got to go to the Flame. I just knew it existed and it was a good place to go.
Yeah. So anyway, back on topic, I suppose. so so you had a lot of bad experiences yourself. Actually, it'll be interesting is after me sharing all the information I dug up all those years ago, and then getting all the information from Kat after the fact, after her experiences with this and finding what worked. It'll be interesting to see if this works for you.
Well, so far it like for me it's a primer. Or I'm just like, "Oh, okay. Cool. Like I didn't know this stuff before." And so that's why I wanted to read it again because I'm like, I'm sure reading through it and being all excited about reading through it, I
Mm-hmm.
probably missed some things. So I do want to go back and read it again. I thought it was the humor, by the way, is spot on. The humor is, I love all the different words you use for breasts. I thought that was brilliant. The more the merrier, the more creative the merrier.
Well, I figured a book like this needs to be fun. I mean, writing about this topic and being dry and dull would just, yeah,
Well,
kind of misses the point.
there needs to be humor when it comes to stuff like this because we just live in a too serious society right now and everybody's so thin-skinned. So
Yeah.
yeah, the more humor, the merrier. Like I said, I can't wait to read the other chapters because I only got part of chapter 7 and I believe part of chapter 8. And
I
also the
believe
beginning of the
chapter
book.
7 is now done.
Yeah,
And
you
it
told
was
me you finished
twice
that.
as long as what you got. And I'm going to return to the chapter on attention a little later. After doing eye magnets, I needed a break from that subject. So, yeah.
Oh no, I was gonna say I also liked how you talked about the stereotypical bitch in Hollywood was always the curvaceous
Yeah.
woman, like the sex pot. Like we're missing that now, and I really like that because I started going through. I'm like, oh yeah, he's right. He's totally right. And I remember we discussed it also when we were visiting, but we couldn't read the whole thing since Chris was there with us.
Yeah. I don't think there was much in there that would have really been bad for Chris, but it might have been boring to him.
He might have actually started asking questions too. He's at the age where he's asking all the questions now. We're having the talks.
Oh, well, that's interesting. I'm glad I'm not in that
Yeah,
situation.
he's looking at it scientifically. So you know what? Hey, awesome.
Okay, real quickly, just to give you a sense of some of the humor in the book has a lot of very useful diagrams. I mean, diagrams that will actually be informative and make things make sense. But then some of the diagrams are just there because it has to be said. And here's one that I recently made.
No, I say sorry. Somebody's knocking at our door.
Oh,
No, I'm good. Oh yeah. That's the other thing I wanted to talk about. You can actually prove that they have organs. The one senpai wants to hang out. It's not senpai. Her name starts with a U. The one that started the whole like freak out.
Izaki-chan.
Yeah. You said that she was based on an actual cosplayer that has all the proper dimensions.
Yeah.
And she actually was honored that her shape was being used.
Well, I have the quotes from her.
Yes.
She flat out is talking about how she loves the character and that I point out, look, it can't be a coincidence that these two look similar. and have the same dimensions. I mean, almost perfectly.
Well, you know who nobody bitched about? Where are her organs? Dolly Parton.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Do you think it was because of the whole thing where, well, she's white trash. It's okay.
I don't know. But I mean, I know that I told you before, like, she was well known for her boobs. Also, an amazing singing voice. I actually am a fan of some of her music. But I've never heard anybody bitching about her organs. Or what about Betty Page or
Well,
Dita
Betty
Von
Page was.
Teese?
Yeah. Okay, here we go. The actress, the AV actress slash cosplayer is Kaho Shibuya, who
Yeah.
is, it is very interesting. And her being even pissed off that people thought that the character should be redesigned.
Yeah, I like the fact that she got mad about that. It shows that, people are getting kind of sick of Western influence.
Mm-hmm.
When I got really pissed seeing all the people redesigning the characters on Twitter.
Yeah.
And then I was so thankful that Nerd Wonder said every time somebody would bitch about it, she would draw the character but with bigger tits until the point where like they were the size of a state. I don't know if you remember seeing that on
No, I
Twitter.
didn't. That sounds hilarious.
Yeah, every time somebody bitched, she drew a new Zaki-chan.
Okay, Star Storyteller says, I have a question for the Jugs book. Do you cover trans women getting implants? I cover implants. I do not cover trans women, and I'll tell you why. I don't even want to go anywhere near that fucking minefield. This is about women. It's about boobs. Um, I, I'm not going anywhere near trans. The fact is I'm probably going to be attacked for being cis-sexist anyway, or a turf or whatever. I don't know, which is fine. I'll just say write your own damn book if you don't like it. But if I come out with an opinion or talk about if I actually start getting into the actual portrayal, because a large part of this book that I think people are going to be shocked about is I actually do get into writing techniques. And why they're important and how to apply these techniques in your writing. Did you get any of that, Ginell?
Yes.
Okay.
I do remember reading about how you're talking about writing them, about how people need to research how to write breasts, and then that's when you started going into educating like how bra size works, how different sizes of people, and also basically going over dispelling the myth that big boobs do not give you back pain.
Yeah.
It's a posture issue.
Oh,
and I know that for a fact because I have huge boobs and I have terrible posture. My back pain is from hunching over all the time. It's never been because of my boobs.
No, actually, I meant the part where I believe it's in the iMagnet section where I'm showing all the examples from known writers who've used them and talked about breasts in their books and showing how they approached it. Did you get that part?
I believe so. Yeah, hold on. Let me go get the book.
Okay.
I'll be right back, guys.
Well, while she goes and gets the book, the short answer is, since I actually am getting into writing techniques and talking about describing and portrayal of characters, if I were to even take an opinion on that, I'm inviting torches and pitchforks. And it's the subject, me personally, I have no interest in. So I'm not going there. And I mean, maybe this will show my complete ignorance, but I would have to imagine that getting implants for a trans woman is probably not all that different than, I guess, what a double A cup going and getting a boob job, where they start out with nothing. I could be wrong, but that's my assumption.
Okay, I'm back. Yes, iMagnetism as a story element. The horny grandfather, sexy shopping outfit, the disastrous family outing to Disneyland.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so
yeah,
I did get. So, what do you think of me bringing up other writers and how they did it?
Well, I liked that you brought up Animal House, Blazing Saddles, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, because I remember all the big boob chicks, which were done correctly. And also how in Japan, how they do their anime with big boobs, boob physics, like the High School
Yeah.
of the Dead, which we've talked about several times. But also the what we talked about before with in public, where I have a staring problem, but people just kind of flick their eyes back and forth between the chest and the eyes of the woman.
Yeah.
You bring that up in his Islands in the Net.
Oh yeah.
So you do show how people do it correctly and incorrectly.
Mm-hmm.
And Philip K. Dick, I do have to say that Philip K. Dick.
I'm a huge fan of his, but wow.
Yeah, dude. It was her breasts were smiling. Was that it?
Yeah.
Where they could make you smile. Like, holy shit. I haven't read that one. I have his short story compendiums, so I've read all his short stories, but I'd never read that. Now I need to go find that. That was amazing.
Yeah, Blade Runner or Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep has quite a few references. The one that's the funniest, though, is the one that gets the most criticism, which is Clans of the Elfin Moon. And it's a fun book. I mean, what's weird is you've got all these feminists and editors just going on about how it's a terrible sexist book. You know, he's going out of his way to describe every woman's breasts in the story. And it's like, it's a comedy, and the protagonist is boob obsessed. Of course the character does that.
That part was not in what I had.
So okay. So you haven't gotten that part yet.
So no, I've got Philip K. Dick, William Gibson, the functional elegance of a warplane's fuselage. I'm sorry. I need to reread Neuromancer because I don't remember that.
Does that strike you as good or bad? Since
I thought it was. Sorry, I'm choking because I'm coughing and choking at the same time. I thought it was great. Like, I need to go reread Neuromancer because I don't remember that.
Yeah, he's admiring Molly's body, and he mentions her breasts and then describes her body as having the curves of a warplane.
Warplane. Her body was spare, neat, the muscles like a dancer. I was like, I do not remember that. I need to go back and I need to go read that whole trilogy again. That's probably one of the best cyberpunk trilogies ever made.
Yeah. Well, Neuromancer, I've got like the first half almost memorized. I've read it so many times, but I look forward to sending you the finished version of that chapter because I really get into other writers and how they approach it. And I think you'll find it pretty funny because I go through this thing where I take excerpts from different writers and I say, well, here's women describing boobs. Here's women checking out another woman's boobs. Here's how women usually write about boobs. Here's a gay man writing about boobs, and they're each a little different.
That actually, I think that's in chapter 8 because it's the catcalls, creepers, and street harassment.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on, you talk about, or maybe it was earlier, a pissing contest between like 2 or 3 women at a holiday party.
That was,
and then
was
a gay man and a woman that you also worked with that were having a pissing contest at.
Okay. From a female perspective, a female perspective who doesn't get offended by shit. What did you make of those 2 stories, which are absolutely true?
They were ridiculous. It's like, dude, how much do you have to drink? There's no words because it was so ridiculous. I had never experienced that. The only thing, like I said, I experienced is sometimes at drunken parties, my drunk friends would be like, I wish I had a rack like yours. That was about it. Or, like a drunk guy groping me. That's it.
I hope she doesn't kill me for this. This isn't included in the story. My boobs aren't big, but they still feel young. Touch them.
Okay,
that part of the story. You remember that?
Is that even
okay?
Is that in
the pissing match bit where I'm recounting the story of being at a Christmas party, and these women gathered around, drunk off their ass, talking about their tits. They're all middle-aged women. They were all ex-strippers.
Oh, ex-strippers. Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, that might be further in the front of the book.
But one of them where it says, well, my boobs aren't big, but they're firm still, like they're young. Right? She really said that. The part I didn't include is the bit about, here, touch him. See?
Oh, you have to
She
include
offered
that.
to Kat. The look on Kat's face was like, Kat was like, get me out of here. Please. I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah, okay, I found it. I swear, it's such a pain being a 36D. Tiny titty girls have no idea what it's like having men always talking to your chest.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's further in the beginning of the book.
Yeah. You know, the only point is I unfortunately couldn't communicate the slurred speech of that conversation because they were hammered.
I can imagine Kat's face, and I would run away and hide because I would not want to see what would happen.
She just wanted out. I mean, it was like this, I can't believe this is happening. She didn't get mad. It was just like, what? This can't be happening. No. You know, and I could probably write a whole story about that night because one of the women was obsessed with, oh God, who was the quarterback in the aughts that was so popular in San Diego?
Not Humphreys. Was it Ryan Leaf?
Yes.
Wait, hold on. Let me ask my husband. Steve-O, who was the quarterback for the Chargers that was super popular in the early aughts? Was it Ryan Leaf or was it Drew Brees? Okay, then it couldn't have been Ryan Leaf. I'm sorry, guys. Hold on.
Well, you're getting to learn all about San Diego here. Now you get to hear about our quarterbacks.
There was Ryan Leaf, Doug Flutie, Drew Brees, and Phillip Rivers. It might have been Phillip Rivers.
It was one of them. I don't remember, but she was just obsessed with this guy. And granted, the girl had big tits, but she was kind of dumpy. She was no longer, she once was hot, I guess, but she wasn't then. And she just kept going, I'm a cougar. I'm going to get him. I'm going to win out the stadium.
Ew.
She go, I'm a cougar.
Oh, I can see that too. As somebody who used to go to those games that had season tickets, you'd see the Cougars. I'm not joking. You'd see the Cougars.
Just outside waiting.
Yeah, because there was a specific part of the parking lot that was for the players. And it was heavily guarded. It was fenced. You saw them come in with their stylish sports cars. And you would see the girls line up afterwards. Like you see the kids come in like, I want an autograph. But you'd also see the women line up. And there was the super hot women. And then there were the women that were probably super hot, but have not realized that they're too old. Yeah. And like, in their 40s and 50s, still dressing like they're in their 20s, hoping to score a football player. I saw some weird shit for all the years that I went to Charger games. I saw a lot of fights too. That's another story. Never go to a Raiders game.
As for the two, the gay man and the woman getting in the argument, that happened at a phone bank I was working at in college.
While you were working?
Yes, while we were all on the phone.
Oh, Jesus.
And these two would just go back and forth. It was, my God, grow up. How old are you? Of course, we were college age, so I guess that really wasn't too out of place. But yeah. And, the thing is in the 90s, at least, you didn't want to get into who's a bigger bitch contest with a gay man. It didn't matter how much of a bitch you were as a woman, the gay man was going to win.
I used to hang out in Hillcrest with one of my close friends who was gay. And holy shit, the cat fights I saw between gay men were like...
Yeah.
I saw one guy walking away from his boyfriend, and he's like, you're going to come back. You know who's the sugar daddy? Who's got the checks in this household? Me. I was like, holy shit. Wow.
Okay, I got to answer this. Hi, Baka. Sorry for the late response. I got distracted by things on my end. Like, I like the books, but is it supposed to say her blood runs cold on the binding of each book? No, and so far you've been the only one to notice, so I don't feel so bad. That was a misprint that, oh my God, that's the time I nearly put a hole in the wall. I was so mad that that slipped by. No, no, one of them says her blood runs cold. The other's supposed to say, blood on the canvas, I think, but it was a horror on the canvas. It was a misprint. If it goes into a third printing, it won't happen again. Ugh.
I didn't notice that. I
Yeah,
think it's because I
nobody
was too
has.
busy trying to read the book to
Nobody
care.
has. He's the first person to mention it, thankfully. But I've seen worse ones. But yeah, that really made me mad. Because other than that, that printing's perfect. It's better than the first printing, actually.
Well, look at it this way. When you become famous after writing Jugs, that's going to be a hot item for collectors, the misprint of Case File Arkham.
I hope I someday become that successful, that a misprint is useful. J.E.C. writes, I've been with girls with breast reductions. They butcher girls' boobs. It makes me sad. I've got to admit, I've seen girls with reductions. Never dated one, but I've seen what the reduction looks like. It's like Frankenstein breasts. I mean, the scarring is insane. It's like, my only feeling is that these are people who must really, really on some level not like themselves to allow that to be done to them.
My cousin had breast reduction. She was cat size. And she got a breast reduction after her second kid. And I don't know why she did it, because she looked great. And I think it was her lunatic husband was bitching about it. And don't ask me why. The guy's a nut job.
Is he gay?
No.
Okay.
No, he's like a fucking lunatic. He thinks that he's one of those people that thinks everybody's spying on you and the government is sending waves into your brain. He actually turned their living room and their apartment to a Faraday cage and actually had his children wearing tinfoil on their head. Not joking.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, the guy was a lunatic.
I mean, I'll be upfront. There are advantages to having a Faraday cage in your house, but that's not one of them.
Yeah, no, but...
I mean, if you want to make sure that you've got something that is not going... If you've got sensitive information and you don't want Wi-Fi or any shit like that, you get a Faraday cage. But other than that, no. That's not going to do fuck all for your brain. What the hell?
This guy was so crazy that he was amazed that Steve and I had actually been to 2 of the 7 chakras of the world that we didn't know were chakras, and Mount Shasta and Stonehenge. We were like, oh, okay, great. He wanted to know if it was cleansing for us. We're like, what?
Does he believe that Atlanteans live inside Mount Shasta, or is it Greys and Reptoids?
No, nothing like that. Maybe, I don't know. I haven't spoken to the guy in years.
That's another conspiracy theory, that Shasta's empty and full of aliens, or Atlanteans, one of the two. Thanks to our storyteller. I appreciate that. Warning to the curious night floaters. Excellent. So, yeah?
Oh, no, I was just going to say that it was really sad to see happen, because I think she also was like under the opinion because she didn't have good bras. And so they sagged a lot. And so sometimes if she wore the wrong shirt, it made her look fat. And I think that really bothered her. But it was because she didn't have proper bras. So she got breast reduction. And it was sad to see. I didn't see the scarring or anything, but it was like her body kind of mutated. Like when I say mutate, it was like it wasn't her anymore.
Yeah.
She still looks fantastic. But, I mean...
Well, that's a part of your body. I mean, you really... Hacking parts of yourself off really shouldn't be the ideal choice.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand certain women out there where, look, they're hanging to your knees and you got elephantitis or whatever, gynecomastia or whatever the hell it is, and you can't walk. Okay, I get it. Okay, I understand. But, you're double H or an H cup, really?
Do you know how many guys would be happy to have an H cup?
And the girl that I knew that got a reduction. Um, it
Was
was
this
like
Goth Girl?
no, this was no, actually, Goth Girl. When I was with her, she wasn't really fat then. She got fat later.
I just like the
Um,
story about your grandfather and Goth Girl. That was fantastic.
um, Goth Girl had a decent figure that could have been better if she didn't keep starving herself, honestly. But she just loved the attention, her getting in the arguments with my grandfather. And they would go on for hours, and he'd call her, I say, I have him call her Elvira in the book because
Uh-huh.
most people aren't going to catch the reference. My grandfather was actually calling her Vampira.
Okay, that
Shows his
sounds
age.
familiar.
It
That
shows his
sounds
age.
familiar.
Vampira was the original, was what Elvira kind of stole her act from.
Oh, okay, that's why it sounds
Do you ever
familiar.
see the Ed Wood film?
Yeah, I've seen parts of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, they would just on and on and on. And yeah, my grandfather would take peeks at that cleavage the whole time.
Sorry. I think that's awesome. That sounds
Oh,
like my mom and dad.
wow. Okay, hold on. Endless Nocturne says, I hope one day to land a guy as good as Isha. Well, thank you. Thank you. Maybe he'll help me find a pair of pants that'll fit my waist and butt. Then he can write a book about it too. Yeah, I've heard that can be a problem too. Is everything fits but the waist.
I haven't had a problem with that. Uh, but I've had several different body sizes throughout. But I mean, I've known women who have natural junk in the trunk
Mm-hmm.
that sometimes finding pants sucks. I mean, these aren't women that are fat or anything either. They just, they got big butts.
Yeah. Okay. LK says that we need to get you. Okay, Ishii, we need to get you on a show with Wes from Thinking Critically or comics, and with Perch. You'd have a good time talking about comics. I'd love to talk to either of them, either on this show or theirs. I mean, send them my way. Let's see. Hey, Elton, I sent you an email. How you doing? Ishii needed a break from boobs. Is he unwell? I didn't say I needed a break from boobs. I wanted to take a break from the subject of attention and staring, because you wouldn't realize how much of a chapter. That originally the attention chapter started as one, and I had to split it into two because there was so much to cover. And so there's one chapter literally dedicated, and it's 7,500 words, and it's dedicated just to all the issues of staring at breasts and the visual attention breasts draw. Then there's a second chapter about interactions. And yes, it will talk about how to write the stuff.
I liked chapter 8, the interaction one that you sent to me, because I like the fact that you went and actually studied the studies where they show the reality versus the myth of the so-called dangerous catcalling in New
Walking in
York.
New York. Yeah.
Yeah, it still sucks that there were two pretty shady, gross guys following that one chick, but wasn't that like 10 to 12 hours?
Yeah, she did it for 10 hours. And really, the end thing that I came away with it is that New York's a shitty city.
Yeah, I've never been fond of New York. I've never wanted to go, and there has to be a really damn good reason for me to go there.
It struck me that New Yorkers seem very confrontational and very, very verbal to each other, very unpolite. Interestingly enough, I mentioned the studies where they repeated the experiments in other places, and there were like no problems.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, I when I was younger, I never really got cat calls unless it was, of course, a drunk guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Kat had the same experience. Really, like I never remember cat calls as a thing here in San Diego. the only times maybe I'd see it was, you're gonna laugh, when the Charger cheerleaders would also be coming out when the players are coming out after a game and leaving, and talking like, "Damn, you fine, girl," because they were supposed to be gorgeous and
Yeah.
beautiful,
Well,
but that was
come on,
part
they're
of their job.
cheerleaders. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but actual women getting cat calls, no. I really never experienced that, and I never saw my friends experiencing that unless
And
we were at a club, and that's, your guys are preening themselves
yeah.
to get your attention.
And did you notice that even in New York, when I listed the actual cat calls,
They're not bad.
yeah, it was like, "You're
They're so
beautiful," or
tame.
"Good afternoon." Good afternoon, seriously?
My favorite one was, "I'll massage your feet. That's a fact."
That guy was creepy.
Oh, was that one of the creepy guys?
Yeah.
Because I thought that was just somebody.
No, it was a black guy that said, "Oh, damn girl, you're fine. I'll massage your feet, and that's a fact."
Oh, wow. But yeah, they're
It's like,
really
wow.
tame.
Yeah, most of them were very, very tame.
Yeah, I didn't see. I'm like, when I'm reading this and you're talking about it, I'm like, women were offended by that.
Well, there was all the complaints that, most, well, it's racist. Most of the cat callers are black. Are you hearing what most of the black men are saying? Damn girl, you're beautiful. You're fine. Damn. Hi. Was it, how you doing, lady?
Yeah,
It's like,
sup, pretty
really,
lady.
It's up, pretty lady. I mean, really, that's gonna ruin your day. Sup, pretty lady. Seriously?
The most, and when I say most offensive, I don't even think it's that offensive, is, "Look at that ass."
Yeah, that's kind of demeaning.
That's more just you're being a sleazebag, but
Yeah.
it's not like, "Oh my God, I have to fuck you right now."
And the scariest ones were the two black guys that didn't say anything mean. They just followed the woman, mumbling, "Here, how you doing? God bless you. Have a nice day. I mean, what you go?" It's like, go away. And they'd follow them for blocks.
I see. I've only seen the truncated version
Yeah.
of that video. I know what video you're talking about, but they only showed like the worst of the worst. And even
Yeah.
to me, I was like,
It
that
wasn't
ain't
that bad.
bad. Yeah.
No.
So that was actually a part of the book I really liked, because you were dispelling the myth of catcalling is word violence towards women. It's not.
Well, as I
That's a
point
crock of
out, I said
bullshit.
that, we always get these scenes in comics and novels where it's the white frat boy in the Camaro who smells like Axe body spray saying really lewd shit. And I said, that doesn't happen. That isn't,
No.
that is not a reality.
I mean, you could think of also that it's not a reality, but they sang about it. But TLC's famous song "No Scrubs."
Yeah.
I don't know, probably not. When I went to SDSU.
I remember the song, but it's been a
Yeah, that
long
was like one
time.
of the biggest songs, and people had it on all the time in my fucking dorm.
I'm
You know how
sorry.
hard? Okay, side note. Do you know how hard it was to go to SDSU and be somebody who was into industrial and metal and living in a dorm? That was a nightmare. Do you know how much Mariah Carey I got to listen to, and Shania Twain? Sorry,
I'm
I'm
sorry.
yeah. That
Oh,
on
how
a
about
side
Dixie
note.
Chicks? Did you get a lot of that?
Oh God, that was my mom. My mom was into country. I
Okay,
had to
LPA.
listen to all that.
Eloise Doll says, it's a long story, but Martina got screwed from the initial artist she hired, who wound up making the book about his character. She fired him. LK, I had a few similar experiences where I went to hire people. I won't name any names, but one of the people I tried to hire, it became very clear that he wanted me to pay him to do his book. That was one of the problems with Comicsgate, was so many of these aspiring artists really were flakes and didn't really want to do the work, or they wanted you to pay them to do their book.
Do you want to hear something scummy about that same artist? He went on the Dick Masterson show and slandered the hell out of Martina, and said that
Really?
he had always been under the impression that she was just the model for his character, and that it was his story. And I was like, that makes no sense. But yeah, because the artist is friends with Dick Masterson. So I ended up listening to that podcast, and I was just like, "What is this?"
Yeah. Okay, Endless Nocturne says comics need bigger boobs, better storytelling, thicker skinned artists, and to hire solely on the basis of merit. Everyone knows how to fix comics except the people running it into the ground. Well, Endless Nocturne, I can guarantee you that point 1 and point 2 are definitely available in my work.
Oh, hey,
Bigger
Cat.
boob.
Cat's in chat. Oh, that rhymed. Sorry.
Oh, you're in the
Hi,
chat.
Cat.
Hey, sweetheart, if you came in the room, you can answer a question people had earlier about Victorian times. Elton, today I had a discussion about how people think my Sharuni's breasts should not jiggle in that costume or get reduced. Please write that up in your Q&A that I sent you. To this day, Mai can still have boob piece.
She's the one that, oh, I can't remember what arcade. It's a fighting arcade game, but she's got the huge
Final
tits, and
fight.
she wears. Yeah, and she wears the. Oh my God, I used to love playing her because of
Boing, boing,
Jizzle.
boing.
Oh my God, jiggle physics. Yes, I liked playing her because of that. It was funny. I mean, does anybody remember when Mortal Kombat had jiggle physics?
Hey, if any of you guys know Martina, tell her if she wants to speak her piece, I've got a show. Why are you putting a laptop on the microwave? Carrington event. We're overdue. I've seen the science on that, and while that does sound scary, I will put point blank, it's not nearly as bad. It probably won't be nearly as bad as everyone thinks if it happens again. I won't get into the science why, but there's been some real hard, heavy research, and odds of a worst case scenario are very slim. Second, yes, I do have a Faraday cage bag for my laptop and for all my thumb drives. And if you live in a house that has iron, iron rebar in it, you're probably okay. Okay, people had a question about Victorian England.
Hi, everybody. I'm finally out of the doldrums of writing a paper for a very, very sad class. Anyway.
They wanted to know the truth about brown and black population in Victorian England, because Neil Gaiman's current series seems to have a lot of them.
Well, they were there. I mean, you did have a lot of Indians, and yes, you did have a lot of people from Africa. But I actually heard you mentioning this before. What a lot of people don't realize is that in England in the Victorian era, you were taxed on how many manservants you had, not female servants, manservants. You were taxed on that. And you were taxed even more if that servant or slave, yes, but if that servant happened to be of color, yes, if you had black manservants, you were taxed a lot more actually than if they were white. So it was a status symbol. Not only that, they took the time to educate their black servants, and because they were trusting them with very specific duties. Not only that, you were not going to have some unwashed, uneducated person, regardless of where they came from in the world, greeting guests at the door, representing you to different people, doing errands for you, because your servants are representing your household. So they made sure that all of their servants were educated. And so already they were cut above of Americans on in that time period, at least.
So another question then. Mm-hmm. Would you say that that's why the black population in London, once they banned slavery, fared better?
Yes, I would.
Because they were all educated?
Yeah, I would say that. And also, it was a status symbol to have a non-white servant. You can read I please forgive me, I don't remember the author's name, but he wrote The Secret Garden and the Little Princess. And because of the campaign in India, it was a status symbol to come back with Indian servants. And again, those servants also had to be educated.
Oh, so
Yeah.
it showed that you had enough money to go to the colonies, get a servant, and come back?
Yeah.
Wow.
And again, they had to be educated because if you were going to send them out into the world, or if they were going to associate with people in your sphere in general, they were representing you. It's just like with children. You're not going to present the world with an unruly child who has dirt and food smeared all over their faces, and then they run with those grubby hands and put their grubby hands all over ladies' fine dresses. That's horrible. You're not going to have that. So why would you have your servant put out an air of somebody who is common?
And just out of curiosity, I never asked you this before. When slavery was banned, and I guess indentureships as well, in the UK, did most of those manservants retain a level of status?
Pretty much. I mean, yes, similar to in the United States, but it was also the same for white servants. You would say, your resume was, I worked with this family for X many years, and your stay with a particular family was your resume. I mean, I'm not going to lie, there was racism there, of course, but they fared better.
It wasn't the same situation as the American South.
No, it was not the same situation.
Well, they didn't have a war to end it either.
No, they didn't.
It was very interesting. I mean, Britain doesn't get any credit for this these days, but they were the first nation to get rid of slavery. They did it voluntarily. I think they were also the first nation to get rid of torture. And in general, they weren't fans of either.
No.
So, yeah, I mean...
Weren't they also the first nation to get rid of debtor's prison, too?
I would say first world nation, yes. But it took them... I don't think they got rid of it until World War I. Because they had it... Well, okay. Do you mean official debtor's prison? Because the workhouses might as well have been. In fact, the workhouses.
No, I meant official. Yeah, the sweatshops. No.
Yeah. Sorry, I should have been more specific on my answer.
No, I knew what you meant. I was curious if that, for some reason, I thought it was either them or France, but I could not remember.
France was pretty lousy about a lot of stuff.
I don't think it was France.
France is still really racist.
I don't know why I thought it was France. Don't ask me why. I think it's because I've been re-listening to the entire thing of the French Revolution, all three of them.
Well, I'll give you this. France didn't get rid of public executions until the late 60s.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. So they're up there with Saudi Arabia?
Yeah. And I found that out reading Camus in my English class in high school.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia didn't get rid of it until I think 1979. So
yeah.
And them in France, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah, another thing that also kind of bugs me about that era that no one ever talks about is we make a big deal about the slavery, but they never really address the fact that meanwhile working class kids were treated in ways that would make the American South look great.
Oh, God. There's a program that the BBC put out. I can't recall the name of the host, but it's World's Worst Jobs. Ginell, you would love this show because this guy is absolutely hysterical.
Any horror story you heard from the American South would look like a cakewalk compared to what these kids went through.
I watched that show because when we were on our honeymoon, we'd watch it in our hotel room.
Okay, so you've seen it.
Yeah, those kids were
I've seen it when he had to do the leather working, where he had to actually stomp the leather and actual cow urine, and he was
had to gather
the whole
pee.
time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Or how fishmongers, the fishwives were punished if they were yelling too loud to sell their wares. They would like dunk them upside down in the water. Oh,
Yep.
I love that show.
No, what was the one where the kid got mashed in the machine?
Oh, that was
and that would happen routinely.
That was specifically the one that he was talking about, the jobs during the Victorian era. And he got into the jobs that children would have to do. And one was it a spinning machine where they had to go and pick up all the loose pieces of wool that would fall down. They also had to brush the machine so that the wool wouldn't clog them up, but they had to do it while the machine was moving. And we're talking 4 and 5-year-olds. And
because they were small enough to fit into the machines.
Exactly. And there's a report, a coroner's report. That's the other thing. I love the Victorian era because they recorded so much. It's just like the Romans. They love to record things. And so you'd have these detailed reports of this is terrible, of these poor little children. And like one kid had his head completely crushed.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, goodness.
See, that's why I have trouble watching that show with you, because I don't know, for some reason when it comes to kids, that kind of stuff.
No, I'm with you, but it's a part of our history.
Well, I mean, I want to know, but it's still
well, no, what I find fascinating is that it's not just a story about this happening. No, this is like an official like police report of what happened. So it's got details and everything. It's like reading a police procedural today. I'm sorry, Ginell, you were going to say something.
No, I totally forgot. That story blew it out of my head.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. I was going to say,
I'm the downer of the show.
No. I remember now. I was going to say, people talk about atrocities. Nobody really delves into the atrocities of the Victorian era Industrial Revolution. There's atrocities across the board. Like the whole women wanting to wear beautiful emerald green dresses. So the seamstresses willingly were poisoned with arsenic, and hearing the stories about these women like falling over and their tongues are green and their fingertips are green. It was like everything was pain.
The amount of arsenic poisoning in that era was amazing. Like the wallpaper, how many people died just from having the wallpaper in their house. In fact, what finally kiboshed the thing of having green wallpaper was Queen Victoria herself. Was so proud of the fact that she had done this one wing of the palace in green wallpaper. She invited an ambassador to come, and 2 days later, 2 days in that room, he came down with arsenic poisoning. He didn't die, but he became horribly ill, and she immediately had it all ripped out, and that did it. No more green wallpaper for anybody else. Although England never formally outlawed the use of arsenic in their wallpaper. Germany did, France did, but England never did.
That is interesting.
The Queen's opinion was enough.
Yes, actually, the Queen's opinion was enough.
Star Storyteller, by the way, this is why I like you. Comments like that shows just how aware you are.
Kat, do you watch a show on YouTube by English Heritage called The Victorian Way?
I do watch The Victorian Way with Mrs. What's her name?
I wish I would have known, because I have the book and I've been making Victorian food. I actually made trifle for Easter Sunday.
Nice.
And I've made Christmas pudding, and Chris wants me to make chocolate pudding for him. So yeah, Steve got me that book for Christmas. I wish I would have known. I would have brought it for the visit, and you could have gone through it. It's amazing.
Man. I love that show so much. I actually started watching it because there was a recipe for something that I wanted to show my mom, because my mom is the one that got me really into studying the Victorian period, and it just spiraled from there.
Well, we're going on an hour and a half. I'd like to call it a night.
Okay.
But you guys okay with that?
Yeah, I got to get my kid to bed soon anyway.
Well, I will send you, Star Storyteller, Squeaky, and Maiden Maiden, what?
Real quick, I'm just going to comment. Wolf, you are absolutely true. The American Industrial Revolution does have a lot of atrocities. The Victorian era is the English Industrial Revolution. They came first. And quite frankly, they have more than we do. They have more horrible things than we do. We
don't suck that bad.
You didn't have entire species of birds nearly going extinct because fine women wanted to wear their carcasses on their heads as hats in America.
I don't think we also had so much pollution that we created the literal London fog that would kill people if you breathed it. And I think it finally dissipated in the 60s.
Yeah.
Although I think China's trying real hard to outdo them.
Yeah, they might win on that one.
Well, I was going to say Squeaky Pickles, Fair Maiden White, and yourself and Star Storyteller. I will have more chapters for you very, very soon. And I would be welcome any of you to come on and give me feedback, because it's good promotion for the book and it's very helpful. But I will call it a night. You guys take care. And thank you for those who purchased my book and let me know. I have more than one person said so.
Oh, very cool. Thank you, everyone.